Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about T2 BPOs. And the reason I bring this up is because one of mine's just come out of production and we have the unusual listing of numerous T2 BPO ships here. And there's a few here that I would like to get my hands on, but obviously we can see the price here is you pay a lot for a T2 BPO. And basically we're going to go into diving into some of the numbers behind these. So I own one T2 BPO at the moment, and basically we're going to look at the numbers behind this and work out some of the rough rates of returns. So at the moment it takes, let's have a look, see. So this is in perimeter but buying the materials from Jitter, so it takes me roughly just over 2 million ISK to produce 5,000 units. So let's work that out. 194.989 plus 179,789 equals 2.105 million divided by 5,000 units works out that roughly I am making them for 421 ISK per unit, and at the moment I am producing one batch every 44 minutes. So I'm producing one batch every 45 minutes, so 60 minutes divided by 45, so I'm making 1.33 batches every hour, times 24 means I'd make 32 batches a day, times 5,000 rockets, so 160,000 rockets. So at present the missiles are selling for 549 ISK minus the build cost. So I'm making on average 128 ISK per unit, and we're making 160,000 a day. So I'm making roughly 20 million ISK. Now if we take the 20 million ISK and we minus fees for transactions, then I'm making, give or take, 19 million ISK. So not a bad amount, not great. Let's work that out. So I paid 35 billion ISK for this BPO, and we are going to be making 19 million ISK a day. Assuming it stays at roughly that, it will take me 1,842 days, so it'll take me 5 years to recoup that. So with that, let's have a look at some of these BPO rates of return. So let's have a look in industry. This makes it nice and easy. Pull it up, 404 straight off the market there. It takes a day 15, and we can't sell it for what we can buy the materials from in Jitter. Now obviously you can make some of these materials yourself, but my general way of doing it, if I can't buy it straight off the market and make a profit, then having to produce the rest of the materials, you may as well just produce the materials and not the end product. So on this one we're losing 10 million ISK potentially every time we build one of the units. That's not great, and that costs you 350 billion ISK. Let's take a look at the sacrilege. Buy all the materials. 224, this is excluding installation costs. 224. So again, slightly under. Again, rather disappointing. Any here that are gonna, let's try the curse. The curse is always nice. In fact, let's try the pilgrim. So again, let's have a look. 214. Oh, so this one actually makes 15 million ISK. Now let's see how long. Let's actually go to perimeter. Make it fair, shall we? Production. So 15 million, 15, what, 20, just under 20 million ISK per day. And then you've got the installation costs, so that kind of pulls it back down somewhat, but hey ho. Let's have a look at the Manticore. Manticore could be decent, so 175 billion ISK for this BPO. $27.5, 27, so this is making what, 4 million ISK. Let's have a look at perimeter. Production center, so you can make a good, no, you can make what, 2.3 of these, and what was signed for 31, and what was it, 28, 26. So yeah, a decent amount of ISK there. You're making what, 10-15 million ISK per day on that one, not including sales taxes. Any others? Let's have a look at the Jag. I like the Jaguar. It's a decent ship, good tank, strong tackle. 30 mil. 30, so 35 is 5, and we can make what, 2.3, so what, 12 million ISK per day. Half decent. Any of the others? Let's have a look at the Miner 2. I think this was the first T2 BPO ever released into the game all them years ago. 489. 489. So this one's pretty decent. That's I'm gonna have to get the calculator out for this one. Perimeter. So we build one every 10 minutes, so 6 an hour, and we're making what, 200k, so what, 1.5 million ISK an hour. 1.5, no, what was it, 1.25 million ISK an hour times 24, so 30 million ISK an hour for these. But how many are being sold per day? So a semi-decent amount, so not a bad BPO, that one, considering the price in comparison to the rest of them. Now, we've got some missile ones here, and I did take a look at these because obviously with me already having one of the missile ones, it was like, ooh, this might be actually quite useful. So I did look at these. The prices for these are quite absurd, but nevertheless, as I already own a missile one, it seemed like a good idea to take a look. Now, the problem with these is they are the precision ones, so not always the best. But let's just calculate away. So we'll do it in perimeter. So just over every hour we produce a batch of 5,000. It's costing 279 plus 173 divided by 5,000. So it's costing 592 per unit. 592. Ooh. And it's a 592, so 208. So a million ISK per batch times 22, give or take, so 22 million ISK an hour. So pretty much in line with what I'm making on mine, although slightly better. Now, the issue that we start to get here is, and this is again something you need to look at if you're ever thinking about buying BPOs and producing from them, that right, so I can make 5,000 and I'm making 22 batches, so I'm making 110,000 units a day. Now, obviously you can spread these out over other regions, but if you want to just produce in jitter, you can see here from the graph that 110,000 units is pretty much, other than the odd spike, so we are producing the same as or more than what the market or what people are buying per day. Now, obviously, as I said, you can move to other markets to sell them, but obviously that causes extra hassle, extra problems, and eats into profits, time, etc. So the fact that you can produce more than the market can sustain means that you're not always going to be making that 22 million ISK per day, obviously, because you're going to have stock left over, and eventually you know it's not going to make any sense to keep producing from. So something to bear in mind, obviously, when thinking about purchasing any kind of BPO, you know, whether it's be a ship or ammo, etc. If you are intending to produce from it 24 hours per day, can the market sustain that, or is there anything else that you can do with it? Now, with a normal BPO, obviously you can start running off copies and that. Copies with T2 BPOs don't always work particularly well. Let's have a look here. So it actually takes me longer to produce a copy. It takes me 2 hours. Let's just do perimeter, just to Research. So it takes me the same amount of time to produce a copy as it does to actually produce the 5,000 units, and you don't get many people selling Tech2 copies, although this person is, oddly enough. So 2.5 million ISK. So yeah, again, if you're producing a lot of copies, I suppose you could try and sell them on the market, but again, the demand for that is relatively low. So again, you're going to struggle to use them all, but it is potentially another avenue. But obviously, with a general T2 BPO, you can copy it. A lot of the time, you can you can copy it, research it, and obviously just produce from it. So copying from a T2 BPO doesn't usually make a great deal of sense. So yeah, at the moment I am looking to purchase 1 or 2 extra T2 BPOs to add to it. And initially, when people, I did this video back many months ago when I initially bought this BPO, and basically put the question out there: is it worth it? And a lot of people came back to say, no, my God, what are you doing? You're nuts. And the reason I bought this back in the time was because I have had a lot of the T2 BPOs over the years. I must have owned in the region of about 8 or 9 different ones, and I've always got rid of them in the end due to the absurd amount of time that it does take to repay them. However, once you've got them, you've got them, and other than leaving them in a destructible station, they're usually pretty safe. Now, at the time, 35 billion could have bought me pretty much nigh on 30 odd capital BPOs, and that would have made me a lot more risk over the time. But as we've seen with capital BPOs now, all of a sudden something has changed in the game itself and hasn't rendered them useless, but the demand for capitals has obviously dropped off a cliff. Now, obviously by having the T2 BPO, it's given me another way of making ISK that was detached from all the other ways I make ISK. Now obviously I do manufacturing, but with it being T2, it's obviously different to T1, and it means it's harder for people to encroach on that market because obviously the nicheness of it. Yes, you can do the invention of that, but obviously that takes time and it's a lot more effort. So this is the reason, when I made the other video, that I branched out into buying some T2 BPOs, and that is just to spread my risk around, to not have everything in one bag. Same as say the capital BPOs now, I'm struggling to sell them in comparison to what they were selling, and that's understandable. Again, it's going to be a while, I imagine, until capital BPOs are in any great demand, if whatever. So again, just another thought there that sometimes you do things that other people think, my God, what are you doing? That's nuts. But in the end, it has kind of paid off, and that BPO could potentially now sell for a lot more than I bought it for, although I have no intentions of selling it. So yeah, it's something to keep in mind. So yeah, I think we'll wrap up there. It's starting to drag on a bit. So thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. If you've got any questions or comments, then obviously put them in the comments section. Always happy to read them. With that, thanks for your time. Fly safe.